Welcome back, Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at the Zone Mortalis Necromunda Dark Uprising box set contents. And what we have here is the Zone Mortalis floor tiles. There's a tutorial on how to paint those using stencils, and I'm planning on posting up like the image and stencils and everything, so you could basically just like print those off and make your own if you wanted to do the same thing. But it is set up for like the measurements of the deployment zone, so you'll see like some of the missions in the new rule book have you starting like within 6 inches of the center, and then other missions have like a captive in the center, and then your deployment zone is 6 inches from there, so it's measured out basically to represent that on the board. And then again, some of the missions will have you 2 inches from the board edge, and then other missions will have you 3 inches from the board edge, or they'll have the attacker like 2 inches and the defender 3 inches, or vice versa. So basically this is a 1-inch strip, the striping is, and that just gives you the 2 and 3. So even once all your terrain and everything's on the board, it's like super easy to just tell like where the deployment zones and everything are, and it takes very little time to just measure all that out and then make that be like, you know, the basis for our board, and then save like exponentially. Like how long do you spend like in games of Warhammer or in games of Necromunda or something, like measuring out deployment zones every single game? At the beginning of the game you have to do it. So in this situation, even though it's like 1-inch floor tiles and everything, it still just like makes it easier having the center and everything. So but here we had the 2 gangs. It's not every single model from the set. We're actually starting, like we're doing a couple like prequel missions for our campaign. So we're going to be starting with like little 500 point gangs for like 2 or 3 missions, and then jumping up to like the full 1,000, and then going from there. So in the meantime, you know, we have more than enough guys, and then with like the magnetization options and everything, you know, we have like infinite combinations basically. Did a few conversions basically on like some of the champions, and you know, like the main guys, obviously we showed off a couple of them. Um, and then we did the zenithal lighting effect, essentially like simulating a overhead light source to kind of like bring attention to you know, like the models once they're in like the dark underhive and everything. Obviously, you know, they're still primed, and you know the floor is painted, so it's going to draw your attention more. But as everything becomes painted, you know, I think it's going to have a really nice effect, and the models really stand out. And I wanted to display the lighting technique, and it's very difficult to do because I have overhead lighting set up for this, and then essentially like what I'm trying to do is simulate that overhead lighting. So a lot of times in the video it's difficult to make out, but we're going to start, for instance, right here with the big dog with Dozer, and I've showed him off a couple times. He's a converted subjugator, and he has bulging biceps, so he's able to carry his weapon in one hand, and then he has a shield in the other hand, and he is in fact a juicer. So I got him like rigged up with like a little bit of like a Bane type Mad Maxy feel going on, and you know, decked out his shield a little bit more and everything. But as you can see, okay, we've used 3 colors to do his primer with. Actually, all these models primer with. We used a very dark, rich blue, like a royal blue. I believe it was. I'll have to look, actually. It might not have been royal. But it was a very dark blue. And then we used a gray, like a mild gray, typical primer. And then we used like a straight up white primer. And essentially what we did was, so we basically started him like face down, laying down, and we sprayed him with that blue, and you could see by the bottom of his face it's still very bright blue. Obviously you can make it out pretty good, I think, right here, and then especially where like a little bit of the gray got over. But anyway, so it's very dark blue underneath, and you can still see it. And then next after that we flipped him over, and then we sprayed him from this angle, so now all the shadowy areas are that dark blue, but there was no primer on the top part of him. So then we basically did the opposite. We lay him down like this, and then we spray him with the gray, and then we flip him over, spray him with the gray, and then finally we stand him up, and now he's gray with blue down in the cracks, and then we spray like white primarily where like the initial light source is coming from, but a little bit on the back too, but a little less aggressive. So you'll see it essentially gives that blue down in there. And now when I show you this on camera, it looks like shadows, so you can't actually tell that it is in fact paint. But when I flip him over, you'll see the light is shining right here, but it's still that dark blue color. but it's still, again, very difficult to make out in camera. But as you can see down in there, you know, all the areas that would be shadowed are actually like that blue color. So even if you just painted this model like now with like washes, essentially it's going to add an extra depth because it has like that darkness built into it. So it gives every color you put onto it like, you know, essentially the effect of using three colors, because you have that color mixed with the dark blue, or over top the dark blue, over top the gray, and then over top the white as well. And so you're going to get like really dark and rich shadows, but you're also going to get like very crisp and clean like whites, you know what I mean, and like skin tones and faces. So but again, I'm going to demonstrate this in a way I think that will be the most effective so far. As you can see with the shield, because it's like a flat object, I think it's going to demonstrate it very well. So you can see he's very white and very bright from the top, but when you flip him over, you can start seeing the dark. And then as we spin him around, we'll see the shield, as it's in the shadowy area, is completely blue on the backside. And again, it's looking like a shadow when I try to show it off on camera. But now here's the key, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the shield off, and you'll see, you know, it looks dark right there. I can flip it this way and it still looks dark, but it's tough to tell because you see how the light's hitting it. So now if I compare it right here, when I turn it like that, you can see the dark colors down in there, but then when I spin them around, you can see the real contrast between, like, that's the same color as the shield in that little shadowy area, as opposed to like the white. And then when I take like another model, for instance, let's take Dozer again, and we can compare him again to the shield. When you're looking at him like this and it appears like you're looking at a shadow, it's not actually the shadow. That is in fact blue paint that's giving that effect. And then as I spin him over, you see the shield is staying the same dark color blue because I'm not moving it, but he's turning white. That's our effect basically happening right there. And that's what we're going for. We basically just want the natural like shading done for us so that we can simulate that light source. And now what we're going to do is we're essentially going to do kind of like what they, I don't have the contrast paints and I haven't used them. I like the idea of it. I just, you know, didn't pick them up. They were kind of hard to get, and they didn't really come in like a starter like paint set of them, like a base set, and I just never got around to just like piecing together like a little basic paint set of them, and they didn't get them locally, so they weren't available at our store. So anyway, I just haven't had a chance to mess with them. But what I do have is you know, essentially like inks. So we're going to be doing like inking technique, or like a glazing, I should say. It's like a glazing technique, and layering on some glazes for two reasons. One, because it works very well with zenithal lighting, because it essentially like lets us take advantage of that shading that's already done for us, and then just add the color as we see fit in like multiple layers. But two, it also accentuates like how awesome these new models are and how much detail is already built into them, so that it's not as necessary, you know, to get in there and like paint everything like in particular. You can really like, you know, let the detail of the models and the sculpts themselves like, you know, combine with the lighting technique. You can let that do like all the work for you, and you can get a very nice paint job and you know, get them on the table in no time. And then when you couple like that kind of technique with like a little light dry brushing and some OSL, you know, maybe some technical paints, like next thing you know, you've got an amazing looking model, you know, with you know, mediocre or medium to like, you know, decent skill level or whatever. You don't have to be a Golden Demon winner to paint a gray looking model, I guess is what I'm getting at. So but I did want to show off just a couple of the guys. I didn't do a ton of conversions on my guys. I obviously went all out with Dozer, but you know, the magnetization was, in my opinion, like enough. I did try to get like a little bit of like, you know, pose, so he looked like he was like shooting a sniper rifle. All the weapons are magnetized too, so you could switch them off. But like, you know, I wanted him to kind of look like a little bit like Boss, like he's just, you know, mix it up a little bit. Oh, that's the regular guy with the shield. I don't know why. I like, for some reason, having these two guys switch. He looks like a beast, just like rocking that shotgun out. I don't know why. I'm gonna switch him and put him on a little base if I can get his feet to fit on one, and just have him rock out as my Sarge. like one of my veterans or whatever. And then here's my bros, guys. And again, that zenithal lighting is like so sick on these guys. I can't wait to see them painted. But like the little like thatching I put on the skulls on his weapon, you know, really like came out extremely nice. Like the basically like the little ropes go like up and into the skull's eyes, so they're like attached to his weapons. And then obviously he has like the two trophy Ryaks out of the set, and then you know he has a subjugator's mask with like you know obviously the chaos horns and all that good stuff coming out of it. And then you know we accentuated like the little front skull trophy rack and everything, and gave him like a little bit of like some shoulder pads. The one is like his old mask, it's like a demon head shoulder pad, and then the other one is just like a little extra armor. And then obviously you know, the little slabo ribs. I think that was from a Kroot sprue from Tau. But anyway, it's been in my bits forever and just felt right, you know. And then this dude is pretty sweet. Just did like a little bit of conversion work on him. Basically, I have this just attached with putty for now until you like paint his face, and then you could go ahead and glue that on afterwards. But it's just like a little poster tag. And then again, same deal. Just gave him like a little accentuated like shoulder pad armor, so you can't really tell. Like before, it was kind of obvious where the magnets like didn't line up perfectly on like the seams. So I just took like one of the extra like front plates that you get in the set, because you get like a couple of these different ones you can choose from. I just took a couple one of those front plates, and I basically just like cut it in half, like cut, well, not even half, I just cut like a couple of the pieces off. I'll have to do like another still picture. It's very difficult for this camera to pick up like the close detail with everything going on in the background. Just can't seem to like zoom in. But he did came out like really really nice, obviously. And you know the detail really show obviously once they're all painted up. And then this bad boy right here. Just gave him like a couple little spikes on like his elbows, kind of like deal. Nothing too crazy on that one. He's obviously magnetized as well. This guy got like one shoulder pad, you know, just one like bigger one. And again, it was kind of just to cover up like some of the imperfections with the magnets. I'm on like a weird little like stint where I haven't done any putty work in a long time. I like haven't used putty in like a year and a half, and I just am like, I'm not like anti-putty. It's not that I don't want to use it. It's just I've just been making without, even though I have a bunch. But I think I showed you all the real conversions. This guy's pretty cool. He's not really like converted or anything, but you know, I can't wait to get some color on these guys though. They came out phenomenal, and it really picks out the detail when you get this like lighting on them. These dudes are actually like surprisingly awesome too. I'm like very impressed with the sculpts on all these guys. A couple of the arms you can't really put on these juvies, but this one body for the juvie looks like he's a little pumped, like he's been hitting in the gym, so you can kind of get away with it. But like the other one's a little scrawny. This dude looks like a straight savage though. I don't know why. I feel like he should be more points. I don't know how much he costs, but he looks too tough for however much he's paying for him. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, I mean the gangs come out awesome. I'm very impressed with them. The models are phenomenal. Everything's been coming along nice. You know, with the holidays coming up, everything though, I do have to like continue to focus on, you know, commissions, because I'm going to be out of town for a while, and you know, I have certain deadlines that I have obligations basically for a lot of those models, which won't be a problem or anything, but I have to stay on task, and I have to kind of put aside, you know, some of my personal stuff. But we do have a studio copy of Warcry though, that's completely painted up and everything. So I think we're going to start doing some demo games for Warcry, and possibly to do like a campaign between the Iron Golems and the Untamed Beasts. So that would be pretty cool. And it is fully painted. It's awesome. And I already have like a backdrop made and everything for film and battle reports. So it'd be nice to get something out as far as battle reports. And you know, let me know if you're interested in Warcry, or if you prefer like Kill Team, 40k, or Necromunda, or if you just like everything. But I do appreciate all the feedback, guys. Warhammer Man, signing off.